Okay, welcome to another Rob Strings and Things. Today I've got an electric guitar for you. It's a Harley Benton Strat-style guitar in their Vintage series. I'm going to tell you something about it, tell you what I like about it, what's perhaps not quite so good, play some tones, and then make a kind of recommendation. Anyway, so here it is. It's the Harley Benton ST-62MNSB. So there it is. You can see it's got a very nice high gloss, really high gloss sunburst finish to it. I'll tell you something about it. Again, with most of my instruments, I've had them for a little while, maybe a year, 2 years. I like to sort of have them around to play, get a real feel for them rather than just kind of sort of straight out the box. Sometimes you don't really get a good feel for the instrument, how useful it is, how it plays, and also how stable it is over a bit of time. So here we are. So it's again part of their Harley Benton's Vintage series, classic Stratocaster style guitar. Just a few details about it to start with. As I say, it's got a basswood body. I can see it's got about made up of three pieces. It's got a Canadian maple neck with a C profile, maple fretboard, 22 frets with a 350mm radius. For those who are very interested in such things. Scale length, sort of classic 648mm. Nut width, obviously, again, standard 42mm nut width. Double action truss rod, which is quite a good thing. Our three Wilkinson single coil pickups. I think now these models in this vintage Strat style series, ST style finish, have Roswells in. So you can tell this is a two years or so old. 5-way selector switch, the classic Strat situation. Obviously, volume knob here, 2 tone knobs here, and the lower tone knob, that one there, doesn't obviously affect the sounds, and certainly the upper 2 pickups. You can see it's got a white pickguard, synchronized tremolo system, and D'Addario 10 to 46 gauge strings. As I say, nice finish. Cost, I think I paid less than 100 UK pounds for it. Just looked up yesterday to see what the cost is. It's around 105 UK pounds, so you can convert that to euros or whatever your currency is relevant. Very nicely, it looks like a very nicely finished guitar. As I say, I've had it for a little while now. I've set it up so that, just turn the back for you to see. I've set it up so it has a floating tremolo, which is a really good way, obviously, to test how stable the tuning is on when you use the tremolo arm. So, and by the way, I'll put a link to a really good method for setting up a floating tremolo in the comments, in the description below. That way, obviously, you can see whether that's something you want to do, because it didn't come with a floating tremolo. I don't know if you can see, probably, I don't know whether you can see that. Yeah, it's got quite a float on it. One thing to remember, if you float the tremolo every time you change the strings, or if you use different gauge strings, you're going to have to reset it. So have a look at that method that I put in the description below, and you'll be aware it's very straightforward. Okay, so what more to say about it? Well, good points. Plays pretty well, I think. Action was really good. Obviously, when you set up to float the tremolo, this will tend to bring the bridge pins up here, which you'll need to make sure you adjust. And that's one of the good things about the floating bridge method that I've pointed out for you, because the guy recognizes this as an issue to start with. So that'll help you to do it. Couple of things. I thought the fret edges were pretty poor on this instrument. I've sanded them, obviously I've burnished them down a bit, but even today I can still feel them, and not the greatest of edges. So I'm going to have another go at just sort of filing down or burnishing down the fret edges on this. Otherwise, I think it's a really nice instrument. One of the things that I'm not so keen on, obviously, is the whammy bar arm here. As it's set up now with a tremolo in floating position, the arm is really close down to the string. So if you're trying, obviously, to play this with your grip on your tremolo arm like this, when you push it down here, as I'll demonstrate, I guess, when I play some tones, this actually comes right down. If you're not careful, it will actually hit and rest on the just about rest on the volume knob here. So I haven't done it yet, but I probably will bend this arm up a bit about this right angle position there, so that actually it's further away from the fingerboard. Also, as with all these things, it's very loose, and the better bridges, these six bolt or 6 screw bridges, will have a little adjustment screw down here, so you can just tighten up the arm so it isn't too floppy. Obviously you do want it a bit floppy, but this is super floppy, so this arm is going to need a bit of adjustment. The other thing is obviously a nice chrome finish on most of the things. This chrome finish on the input plug here, input socket, the chrome here is actually just a bit tissue damaged. I don't know whether you can see it, but it's just there. I haven't done that. That was like that when I had it. What more to say? Okay, so the other comment to have about this is that it has the classic type of Fender Cluson style tuners. They're all okay, but the top E string tuner, this one here, it's really tough to turn around. I've put a little bit of lubricant in the hole at the back here, hasn't made any difference, so the gearing is a bit tight there, and that actually is quite difficult. So if you're really wanting to adjust that fine tuning on the instrument, then obviously you're going to need to maybe change the tuners. But then of course, when you start changing everything out, you're then putting up the overall cost of the instrument. So whereas it might have cost, say, around about 100 UK pounds when you bought it, by the time you've maybe changed the tuners, maybe put a new bridge in, maybe thought about buying a new whammy bar, you're up in a different price range. So really you need to think about those things. Probably a great instrument to mod, but the pickups are pretty good. And so now I'm just going to spend a bit of time playing a few tones for you, and then I'll come back to you and give an overall impression. So just wait a second and I'll be with you playing some tones. Okay, so I'm going to play a few tones of this guitar. I'm just going to play some sort of funky kind of stuff, and I'm going to just change the tones. The volume's on full, the tone controls are fully turned up as well. I'm just recording this directly into the Reaper DAW here, so there's no effects added onto it at all. So you'll just hear the pure tones of the guitar, and I'm going to move slowly from the position 1 here, the upper position of the selector switch here, down through positions what I would call 2, 3, 4 and 5. Try and play roughly the same kind of thing so you can kind of hear what it sounds like. Okay, so here we go. Position 2. 3. Okay, so that's kind of a strumming, sort of funky type of style. Just play a few open chords in the different positions, going back obviously to position 1, so it's the the neck pickup. So it's just an open E. Position 2. Position 3. Position 4. And position 5. Okay, so now how good does the tremolo stay in tune? We'll just have a little test on this, just playing this open E in this position 5 here. We'll just try bend it down. As I say, it's for me far too close to the fingerboard with the floating bridge. So when I've tested this on the tuner, generally the guitar stays pretty much in tune when you've bent the notes like that with a bar. So that's pretty good. I'm just going to sort of end the session here now, just saying pretty well made guitar. Could do with some finishing, particularly the fret edges, things like that. There's just a few little niggles with it, but really for a £105 guitar you can hear the tones. For me, with the Strat-style guitars, I'm looking for those sort of midway positions, the 2 and the 4, the kind of the quacky sounds, and I think this gives these sounds, this guitar and the pickups on it, gives a pretty good representation of a Strat. I would say this is probably comparable to a Squire level instrument. That costs perhaps a little bit more, but nonetheless, it's again a good effort from Harley Benton. So this is it. It's the Harley Benton Vintage ST-62MNSB. Sort of nowadays, as I said, it will have the Roswell pickups. So thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if you want to, and I'll be back with you with another of my instruments in due course. Thanks for watching.